taking first cut. Golly!
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round one recap for this week's Wells Fargo Championship. Joining me to break it on down from the scene, we've got him out there investigating the trees, checking out the sight lines. Patrick McDonald is here. Patrick, how are you?
Doing good, Rick. How are you doing? I've hanging out with the trees a lot. The sight lines, I really couldn't put it any better myself. It's like you're here with me right now. But yeah, no, fun day out here at Quail Hollow.
How is it? Golf course, little wet. There were some storms this morning or I guess at least some wet conditions that push us back an hour.
These storms, I kid you not, are like some of the more violent ones I have ever seen. I know there's a lot of tornadoes in the Midwest, I guess you call that part of the country. So the horn blew around like 3:00 yesterday to cut the Pro-Am short. I left. That's a whole different story with the shuttle situation. I don't want to, be on my soapbox now. And I get back to my hotel. I open the windows. I'm like, and the rain's just pissing sideways. An umbrella flies from the pool. And another one of those storms passed through last night and into this morning. And like I said, on Tuesday, the golf course was already wet. So, it's really soggy out there.
Are you at least enjoying your time? Are you getting some work done? Are you having fun? We don't get you out to enough golf tournaments.
Yeah, it's good. I'm shaking hands. I'm kissing babies. I signed an autograph today, which was pretty cool. I didn't sign my real name. I went with like Billy Washington. So whoever signed that, you're welcome. That's going to be worth negative money. And just meeting people, right? It's all about networking. I'm trying to do my best Webb Simpson impression this week. Yeah. Your net worth is your network, and I think it's paying off.
Well, there is one guy that you won't be shaking hands with. There is one man who you won't be kissing. That is one Hideki Matsuyama, who withdrew before the start of his first round, Patrick, but to the chagrin of many a fantasy player did not withdraw before the tournament started. So he's locked in, but the saga of Hideki, will he, won't he, WD continues.
Rick, what's your take on this, the whole injury thing and DFS? I know you're, really on the inside there. What's your opinion of the whole matter?
So from a league standpoint, from a PGA Tour standpoint, there should be a beat, an injury beat, or really just a player update beat. I mean, there are a lot of times where we'll find out a guy wasn't even on the grounds on like Tuesday or Wednesday. That should never go unreported, right?
Yeah.
If Tony Pollard was not in the stadium 45 minutes before the game started, it would be a national news story. Okay. So that alone. So I've always thought there should be range reports. Hey, Hideki Matsuyama checked in at the range at 9 a.m. He left at 11:30. That would be a good starting point without having to assign an injury beat reporter to try to keep track of 150 guys every single week.
Okay. I like it. I like the tracker. Maybe all these guys should wear trackers like soccer players.
Yeah,
GPS.
I also want access to their whoops and see how they slept the night before.
All right, that might be, what's that called? OSHA? TJ OSHA?
HIPAA.
Oh, HIPAA. What's OSHA?
OSHA is the like dangerous work conditions.
Okay. Between some of my pronunciation and now this, it's been a tough couple of weeks, but
the other thing is, but then from a fantasy perspective, for the most part, I kind of think it's like rub of the green.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you if you play Anthony Davis and he rolls his ankle in the first quarter, like sucks. Like it just sucks. Would there be ways to figure it out? Sure, maybe. I actually don't think it happens as much as people think it happens. It just happens each of the last 2 weeks with Sung Jae.
And I mean, he did play his Pro-Am yesterday. A couple people tweeted at me and it's like, dude, can you give us a report on Hideki? Get us a report on Hideki. It's like, hey, buddy, I'm not on Hideki watch here. Like, I'm not at this tournament solely so I can watch Hideki Matsuyama. I don't know his whereabouts. So maybe they do start wearing GPS trackers like soccer players on their belts. Why don't they just do that?
Well,
but it stinks because I think he was one of my best bets.
Yeah, the Corn Ferry guys wear now for Shot Link, they wear like a little beeper on their belt. So now we do know where they are at all times. Just tell us.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. All right, let's get to a little bad before we get to a lot of good. The defending champion, Wyndham Clark Patrick, got off to a very rocky start. He started on the 10th hole. So he started birdie, double, double. Then he went birdie, birdie, birdie. So that's one way to be even par through 6. Unbelievable. He then bogeys 17, his 8th hole of the day. Doesn't really get much better after that. A 2 over 73, a wild scorecard, and Wyndham Clark has got a lot of work to do if he wants to successfully defend his crown.
I think the early guys were really thrown off by the firmness of the greens. They've been talking about it all week about how wet the golf course is, but since they resurfaced all the greens at Quail Hollow, they're hard as a rock. I'm sure you saw watching, they were like trampolines out there.
The bounces are insane.
It was ridiculous. I mean, Max Homa said they were bouncing over Brian Harmon in his pre-tournament press conference. That's a joke. But I think the early guys, it was like, okay, it just dumped here for like 10 hours pretty much. The greens have to be softened. You would just think it's common sense, right? Or like that they would just be softer. And we saw it with Wyndham there on 11, got into trouble off the tee, actually did pretty well to give himself like 20 feet from par, and then just missed like a 2-footer that horseshoed out. But on 12, that ball hit like a launch pad from Mario Golf or something. He was just barely in the rough, and he hits it pin high. It's a really tough pin location on that green. It's right above a ridge on the back of the green. Probably should have taken his medicine, to tell you the truth. Just hit it below the slope and try to 2-putt like Rory McIlroy did this afternoon. But he kind of got a little greedy, and he paid the price because he got really lucky. It hit the tower, to tell you the truth. It could have gone even further down, made another double bogey, and from there it felt like he was kind of just reeling.
It would be a little bit jarring playing preferred lies, which is how soft the golf course is, and seeing those bounces.
Yeah,
the greens.
It broke my brain. So I can't imagine. I got a pretty big brain here, Rick. I can't imagine some of these professional athletes.
Yeah, what it would take to break your brain. Imagine how they're handling it. Patrick Cantlay did not have a good day. This guy's difficult to figure out in 2024. He's not only apparently single-handedly running the show on the PGA Tour, but he's playing golf. He bogeys 13 and 14. Those were his 4th and 5th holes of the day, including hitting one in the water. He makes the turn in 3 over, Patrick. He does claw one of those shots back on the second 9, but a 2 over 73 with, like we said, soft conditions, pretty decent scoring average, even though the greens are as bouncy as they are.
Yeah, I think the extracurriculars have really gotten to him, to tell you the truth. Everyone, when you ask someone who's on the like outskirts of the conversations, like someone who's like a friend of Patrick Cantlay, like a Xander Schauffele or a Max Homa, the guy they always bring up is like Patrick Cantlay. It's like he's always on his phone. He's always taking a phone call. And I honestly think it's starting to affect his play a little bit. And then you throw in the fact that, Wall Street Journal is reporting, Golf Digest is reporting, him, Jordy, Tiger, they're kind of leading the crew inside, the anti-Rory McIlroy crew, which maybe I'll ask Rory about that later. Probably not. Here are the names. Do you want to name them? Can you confirm or deny?
Confirm these guys don't like you.
But I think it's really starting to affect his play. I know he had a solid start there at the Masters and the RBC Heritage, but like you said there, Rick, he's getting really hard to figure out, and that's really concerning for a guy who was Mr. Consistent for all these years. You knew what he was going to get, right? We lumped him in with Xander Schauffele. He's a top 10 machine. He's going to scratch at the back door during the major championship season, get a nice yellow box perhaps, but now it's there's some question marks around his game.
Yeah, and he was never, he was always playing well in big events, high purses. Like these events are ones that he would be in the mix, and we haven't really seen Patrick Cantlay really be in it for much of 2024. I want to get to the guys at the top of the leaderboard because the top is pretty sick right now. There's still some guys out on the golf course. We'll cover that, but first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
From the world of Sonic the Hedgehog, is there anyone stronger?
No.
Tougher?
No.
Hungrier?
Grapes was an interesting choice for someone who doesn't use fingers.
Knuckles, now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
And we're back. Let's start with somebody who's already in the clubhouse, and that is Justin Thomas, Patrick, who, if you think Patrick Cantlay is hard to figure out, if you think Jordan Spieth's hard to figure out, how about we throw Justin Thomas into the mix? This was a solid day. 4 birdies, just 1 bogey. That was on the par 3, 17th. 3 under is currently in a tie for 4th. Expectations very high for JT. He has not lived up to them in 2024. He's going to be heading back to a PGA Championship next week. He's now in his 3rd start without bones on the bag. What are we starting to figure out about this guy?
I think he's starting to figure out how to like play real major championship style golf again, right? He's not doing the heroics. He's not sauteing a butterflied steak off an uphill lie like he used to do with bones all the time. He's just hitting the correct shot. And you see what the approach numbers, he gained, a stroke and a half today. Didn't really do anything too fancy. And at a golf course like this, which he mentioned earlier is a really good prep for next week as well, that's exactly what you got to do. It's a great golf course for him. Obviously, he's won here before in the past in 2017, had a good President's Cup in 2022, and a nice finish last year as well because, 1, there's like no rough. 2, that's only going to lead to the best iron players in his short game. Despite the putter being hot and cold, the chipping and pitching still filthy. Like he probably top 3 in the game, I would say. And so you add that all together and someone who found a little bit of confidence there with the putter at Harbor Town, and you get around like this where he's right there on the first page of the leaderboard.
Right above him in at 4 under par is Colin Morikawa. He shot a 67, and he looks a little bit like his old self, Patrick. He was top 10 in the field in strokes gained approach. He was 5 under with just 2 holes to go, and then he finished par bogey on 8 and 9 to post that 67. So just 1 blemish on the card, but now we're starting to get more and more evidence that the iron game is coming back for Colin.
He sounded very, very confident, like a quiet confidence about him when I talked to him for CBSSports.com. If you want to check that out, we talked coaching changes, what it's going to take to chase Scotty down, what he learned from the Masters, all that. And it kind of felt like he had a smirk on his face the whole time. Like, yeah, I'm about to go on a run here. And so he also discussed how he almost went down this like really deep rabbit hole with Blackburn, and he like caught himself. He was like, I was on the cusp of kind of going that Victor route of turning over every stone. And then he was like, dude, I have enough knowledge. I know my old swing from 2020, 2021 is plenty good. Let's go back to Rick and just piece it all together. Some of the stuff I learned from Mark and some of the with Rick's history, 2 decades being his coach. And he's focusing on his misses right now, just based on what he said. He was like, yeah, my good's as good as Scotty Scheffler. I know that when his iron play is peaking, he can keep up with Scotty, but my bad isn't as good as his bad. And so that's the recipe for major championship golf. This is a golf course that's obviously hosted major championships. And another good start that makes it 3 in a row by himself, pretty much, between the Masters, Harbor Town, and here.
Yeah, he's starting to put it together. You can see it on the stat sheet. You can see it on the coverage. You can hear him kind of talking about it. I don't think he's a great, very reliable narrator of his own, but it at least is now matching with some of the results and some of the metrics that he's putting up. So that I'll give him a break there. We've got Rory McIlroy, the pre-tournament favorite, still out on the golf course. He's playing number 16 right now. He has just hit his approach into 16, and he is currently 8 feet 9 inches away for a birdie. That would be his 7th birdie or better of the day. We saw the full-on firepower out of the gate, Patrick. 3 birdies on 3, 4, and 5. He made an eagle on 7. He did give a couple back, including a bogey here on the par 5 15th, in which he tried to hit a fairway wood out of a fairway bunker, hit the lip, hit his next shot into the green side bunker. Just a pretty ugly way to make a 6. But despite that, he'll have a birdie putt coming up to get to 5 under par, and he is firmly in the mix.
Yeah, if anyone wants to blame anyone for stopping that front 9 heater, apologies in advance. I see him drive over the green on number 8.
Yeah.
That would set up that would get him to 6 under if he had gotten up and down through 8 holes.
Yeah.
And then he bogeys 9. During this, I'm waiting on 10T for him. I'm like, dude, he's about to turn in 30. I'm about to be right here. It's going to be fantastic. I look up at the scoreboard. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Mm-hmm. And then the back 9 was weird. I followed him from 10 up until the start of the green mile, and that's why we're late. Apologies. And on 10, he didn't hit like one good shot. The drive, he was looking – it was actually a pretty sick moment. He hit the drive. He's like, that wasn't very good. There's a big screen, like probably 50 yards away to the right of him, and he's just like rewatching it, looking at the ball speed. He's like, yep, that makes sense. Didn't hit a great approach, didn't hit a great stand shot either, but still made birdie. 11, played smart golf, but dropped a shot there. And then the iron shot up the hill into 13 was disgusting. They sang him happy birthday. They gave him a standing ovation. It was the ESPN bet tent up there, so definitely some closest to the pin wagers. They're cheering on some Max Homa when he hit it in the bunker and when Tom Kim did too. So you can put 2 and 2 together. And then the bunker shot on the very next hole opened up a little 54-degree. Got that from Harry, not a big deal. And hit a great shot, but he didn't pay it off. And it felt like he could have gotten a lot more out of this round, especially when you factor in that bogey on the par 5 too. That's 2 shots right there, and he's tied for the lead, or within one of the lead, maybe tied right now if he makes this 8-footer. But he's humming. It's post-Masters season. I saw a stat today, I think from Jeff Eisenband. From the months of May through October, 21 of Rory McIlroy's 25 victories have come. Obviously, it's the PGA Tour calendar and all that, but I found it pretty interesting.
Yeah, Greg DuCharme has been.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's on air at any point, but he talks about Postmasters Rory quite a bit. So we'll see if he can continue that. So the man, however, that they're all chasing is the man who's in with a 7 under 64. It is the man who turned in 32, made an unbelievable eagle on number 7, and then got the break of a lifetime on 8. We'll talk about that in a second. But the guy I'm referring to here is one Xander Schley.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and Patrick, it wouldn't be a Wells Fargo Championship week with you there having wet socks this week if the man himself, the namesake, wasn't in contention.
Yeah, Rory knocked it in to get 5 under.
He did. He ran right on in there.
But horrible scripting by me this week, Rick. I looked at the weather, and today was probably the most egregious outfit. I'm wearing white shorts and white shoes. Yeah, it's before Memorial Day, but I don't care. I live in the South. I'm tan enough. I can still rock the white. Wow. It's bad. I'm matching Victor Hovland now that I see him on the screen. I'm wearing the exact same color pattern.
You probably make it look better than he does, though.
I liked his fit today. They're very far in front of Rory and that group. But
Yeah,
whatever.
they're way ahead.
But Xander early on, because you saw him with Shane Lowry, who entered the week as the top approach player in this field, and then Wyndham Clark, who's obviously been playing good. I was so impressed by his distance control with his irons, where the course was making everyone look pretty stupid at times. He was hitting the correct shot. he kind of got lucky there on 12 that the ball hung up on that ridge and he was able to convert and make birdie. But yeah, it was really a really strong front nine outside of the driver blown way to the right on 18 that he had to chip out and ultimately made bogey. And then the iron shot on 7 was a laser. And then 8, I was unfortunately out on the golf course, Rick. But it seems like you kind of got the everything, all the info on that.
Yeah. So here's kind of what happened here, and I'll pull it up. So I mean, Xander's rolling, right? He's just coming off the eagle at 7. He blasts this thing off the tee of 8. Just it's gone. He said himself. He said it's dead, right? I mean, Wyndham found it. It is in thick trees, a few feet from a chain link fence. They do find it, and they're at the point where Austin Kaiser, Xander's caddy's moving like rocks and bricks and stuff like that. It's not great. Okay, it's just like not great. They're looking over this. Xander calls over the official and says, like, I'm gonna try to just punch it forward, like just through this stuff. Like there's no like real gap. I'm just gonna try to blast it through. Well, apparently up there was the cable that holds one of the shot link towers, in which the rules official asks him, are you playing in that direction? Of course, the answer is yes. I'm not going to punch it out. I'm going to play it right at that cable.
Duh.
He gets relief, which entitles him to 2 club lengths, which gets him out of the trees right to the edge of the mulch. He gets a great shot from the mulch, honestly. To the green, he 2-putts, he makes par. He was talking about it after his round. It was just the break of all breaks. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, and I mean, those are the breaks he's going to have to start taking advantage of if he wants to get back into the winner's circle. And I'm very interested to see how he plays over these next 3 days with the leaderboard we just outlined, right? With Rory, with Colin, with JT. Your boy Alex Noren is lurking up there as well. So he's obviously been such a good golfer these past handful of years. But we talk about it for major championships. The tournament doesn't start until the back nine on Sunday. I think the same 100% goes for Xander Schauffele.
Let's look at these odds here and look at this leaderboard. So we've got Xander Schauffele in at 64. He is plus 210 right now. Rory McIlroy is still out on the golf course, but he is on the most difficult stretch. 5 under, 2 shots back. He is plus 320. Then you've got Morikawa, 11-1. He's 3 back. Noren also 3 back, 20-1. I can hit you with some notables here. JT's 4 back. He's 16-1. Max Homa, who started off very sour, 2 over through 3, has rallied. He is now 3 under. He's 16-1. Is anything on this board sparking interest for you?
I think Max at 16. Yeah.
He did this recently somewhere else too, where he got off to a really bad start. He grinds back into it, and he was in the mix on Sunday. I cannot remember where it was, but he did the same exact thing somewhere else in 24.
In 24?
I think so.
Where was he in the mix this year? Valera? No. He didn't have a good West Coast like he normally does.
Didn't he? Did he bounce back at Riv?
No, Riv was all Hideki and Willie Z.
Maybe it was just like API where he finished 8th, and I thought, he should have missed the cut. Maybe that was it.
Maybe that's it, yeah. But no, he was. I mean, he's obviously in that Tom Kim, Rory McIlroy global superstar group, and I mean, I was very impressed with his play outside of 1 iron shot and 1 sand shot. I mean, Johnson Wagner was saying how the sand was perfect, and both him and Tom Kim kind of hit flubbers. What was that, 13, I think? And he made bogey there. But outside that, he struck the ball great on the back nine. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I think he's like the best value out there right now. Now he's got to play 17 and 18, but he, I think that, I mean, very brave of me that I think Rory or Xander is going to win. Which would be great. I've got all of my one and dones. I'm using Rory and Xander almost exclusively. That would 1-2 would just be just be perfect.
Xander would be awesome. Who's Mark? Does Mark have Max Homa? I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, knowing my history, I'm going to say Max Homa is going to win this golf tournament then.
Mark has Max. Josh has Wyndham. Greg and I have Rory. You have Xander. And Kyle has Tony Finau, who is someone we did not talk about because he's currently in a tie for 45th.
I know the feeling. It was me last year. You try to get cute. This was around the time when I started to panic with Ricky Fowler at the PGA Championship. And it's a quick spiral. Yeah. It compounds on itself, right? Like you're trying to take more risk to make up ground and you're just digging your hole deeper. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, I think Max is probably the play.
Okay. Are you going back out there or what are you doing?
I'm going to start writing. Probably hit the flash zone, ask Rory a question real quick, and then get the quote and start typing away.
Oh, so you're actually working.
Boring, I know. And then I got to drive home tonight.
Ugh.
Yeah, really long day. I do have some notes, though, from the course if you want them real quick.
Yes.
Everyone calls Tom Kim by his full name, Tom Kim. I think it's hilarious.
I know people like that.
I disrespected the city of Charlotte, the CLT big letter hat, everywhere, on all ages, all genders, does not matter. It is on everyone. Full disrespect by my end. I walked into the media center today. A guy was eating noodles by the handful at 10:30.
How is the food in the media center?
It's not bad. I stick to the prepackaged stuff because I have allergies. But dude, they had chili dogs yesterday, and let me tell you, the line was like around the place.
You'd think when it's feeding hour in the media center,
unbelievable.
You would think they're handed
cows to a slaughter, pigs to a slaughter.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And then like an hour later, that same line was to the bathroom. It was hilarious.
It's unreal, man. Okay, what else you got?
Let's see. The noodle. Oh, I went into the executive club on 17. Panasonic let me in. They gave me a ticket this week. Pretty cool. They were really pushing alcohol on me. Like everyone. They're like, hey, you want a drink? You want a drink? I'm like, buddy, it is 10 a.m. and I'm working. There's
no clocks at casinos and golf courses.
Yeah. And I wrote something, 11 a.m. reminds me of high school, but I don't know what it was.
Dang, I would like to know that one.
I would too. Where was I at 11 a.m.? Was I on the golf course?
Get Panasonic to send us some TVs, man, instead of,
do they do headphones too?
I think they do everything.
Yeah. I was hoping to like activate the brand and take some pictures. I was going to meme myself with Kendall Roy with the big headphones on, but they didn't have any of their product there. Lame. Yeah. Pretty lame. Okay. That's all I got though. White shorts, white shoes. You're an idiot.
Yep.
That was a bullet point, and
that was just a text from me.
Yeah, bit of a light day.
Okay. Well, listen. Good job out there. Safe travels going home. We'll be back Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night to discuss the rest of the Wells Fargo Championship and get you all lathered up for the PGA. But for now, Debo doing all the hard work, the ones and twos. Thank you very much. That's Patrick McDonald. You can find him at P McDonald CBS. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.